Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video, y'all. So first things first, I am grateful because today is Sunday, which means yesterday was Saturday, and I slept pretty much all day on Saturday, not intentionally, but y'all, I was tired, and I'm still a bit tired, but I can at least get up and get my day started and get the things that I want to take care of done. So I'm really grateful for that. I didn't realize after tax season we are exhausted, right? Like very exhausted. And so I needed that time to just sleep and not have to worry about any sort of responsibilities. Yesterday I had to take my car in to go get an oil change. That was a non-negotiable. But outside of that, you guys, man, I did absolutely nothing. And I had my kiddo, which is unfortunate because I don't think she expected me to like fall asleep again. But she was a trooper. She hung in there, did her thing. I made sure she ate, stuff like that. But she got very little mommy time. And then when I was up, obviously my time was spent with her. But yeah, man, I needed that sleep, man. I promise you I needed that sleep. Um, but I just wanted to do a brief update because I feel like when I was driving, I was a bit cut off because I was doing something or something. I don't know. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. First off, I've been watching this TV show, The Terror Lake Drive. Okay. So when I watch stuff like this and then like I'm looking at my everyday life, I see similarities, if that makes sense. I know the Jordan Peele movie Get Out, right? And so I be thinking stuff like that. I probably shouldn't. But it's unfortunate that I've been put in a position where now I do have to look at circumstances from a point of race and not just being an employee. And I can say that I've had experiences when I was working where my race never really, I never thought of my race like that. But I do recognize differences in how I'm treated. And I said this, I've been talking about it, and I do believe my race is a big factor of that, right? Granted, attitude, right? I think attitude is about perception, right? So if your thought process is all black women are angry, and this, of course, I'm going to seem that I have an attitude when I'm just expressing myself. I told you guys when the difference of treatment began, like when I began to notice it more. The little questions about, dang, you change your hair every month. Hey, can I touch your hair? As a matter of fact, them folks didn't even ask to touch my hair, by the way. I had to correct them, don't touch my shit, right? But the little things like that didn't really bother me because I know how to combat those things on an everyday basis. Like I don't really care, right? I don't live, I care, but not to the degree of me being ignored because I choose to shut my door when I'm working. I also want to be very clear about this door situation, you guys. I have been shutting my door since I've been hired. Okay. So this isn't new. Right? Me shutting my door in this establishment since I've been employed has always been the case. It's nothing new. So for this man to all of a sudden, oh, I just feel like you just want to, you want us to leave you alone, yada, yada, yada. No, that's not anything that I said that comes out of my mouth. And I have no problem communicating that. But that, when I really look at it, I'm like, dang, so you're just trying to pick at, and I really feel like the goalpost is going to keep moving. Does that make sense? I don't feel like this is it. I feel like the goalpost is going to keep moving as to how can we legally fire this girl without firing her. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay. I'm prepared for that. Like I said, in my my goal in my business, which my business has been growing, is just to continue to build my business. Because I promise you now, I'm at a point where I don't want to experience this again in another establishment. Like I really don't want to have to deal with this again. Does that make sense? And so I'm finding a solution that would work for me, so that I'm not having to go through this kind of experience again. It's not been a positive one. I will say the intellect, the stuff that I know, the knowledge that I've been able to accrue, right? The things that I've learned, right? The things that I like working with different types of people from all around the world, that's been cool. But aside from that, my actual experience as a Black woman in an all white space, um, I don't know that I'm ready to like revisit this again. Okay. Because it is traumatizing. And I know that people are like traumatizing. It is. When you're being picked at for just being you, that does something to a person's psyche. Like, I feel like this. Like I've always said, and I say this all the time, I am not a person where you're going to put me in a box and be correct. Like I've never been that girl, right? You may think I'm like X, Y, and Z, but then one day my actions may show you that it's the complete opposite of what you were thinking, right? And I'm a girl that I don't have to prove these things. Like I don't have to go up to you, see what I can do. Da-da-da. No. If you are willing to dismiss me, if you're willing to underestimate me, then I'm the girl that will allow you to keep thinking the way that you're thinking. Now, would it frustrate me? Possibly. Would it get some sort of attitude out of me at times? Possibly, right? But ultimately, I've always been the girl that you're responsible for your own thoughts and how you treat people. So if you don't treat me with respect, that's like a you problem. That ain't got shit to do with me to some degree, right? So I've never been the girl, like I say, when this man decides he wants to be petty towards me, I'm gonna ignore you. You may not get the best quality of work because of how you're treating me, right? But for the most part, I'm gonna let you not talk to me, motherfucker. Like, and like, I don't know why people think that that's the way to handle shit, right? Because to me, that's like a toddler throwing a little temper tantrum. And because you can't get your way, sir, hence why I brought up the woman factor, because a lot of this, I wonder if you're in a tiff with your spouse or your sister or your mom, is that how you treat them? You know what I mean? Because I know I'm not the only woman that's got an attitude. I know white women, Spanish women, all women got attitudes, okay? I just think Black women, we did, like I said, turning it off, like basically the fake part of everything, I don't know how to do. I've never been trained on how to do that. And I think a lot of Black women are not trained on how to do that. Meaning, what I mean is, if you're talking about me, right? And I know you're talking about me, I could say good morning to you, right? I don't mind. Like, I could go out of my way and say good morning. Like, that doesn't hurt me. But to have to sit and talk to you about your life and then share part of my life with you, it makes it a little awkward because I know you was talking about me, right? So Black people are a little different in a sense that I don't know if it's a skill that you should have. I don't know, but I was never raised to be phony, right? Meaning that if I know that you're talking shit about me and you're doing this behind my back, you haven't even had a conversation with me. To me, that's disrespectful. So naturally, I'm gonna be looking at it a type of way and I'm gonna be questioning you, your motives, your intentions, all of that, because to me, you've now shown me a level of disrespect that I've never done to you, right? And so for me, it's harder to say, okay, all of y'all were talking about me. And now I'm supposed to sit down and enjoy my lunch with y'all. Like that shit is very difficult for me to do, man. And I think that only in spaces like this are Black people obligated to go out of their way to make everybody feel comfortable, right? So, meaning that after I told you guys we had a great day, right? I had a good day. I wasn't, I also want to be clear. Something I did not bring up in that meeting we had. When my boss is out of town, my team and I get along like nothing. When my boss gets into town, it's his biases, it's his choosing to have favorites, right? That I feel like puts everybody on it's a totally different energy when he comes in the room. Now, A year ago, I would have said the opposite. When I'm just there with my team, the energy is off. Excuse me. Versus if I was there without like with him and my team. The energy shifts when he comes into the office, right? So like this week, I should be able to have my door shut. Nobody will say anything, right? And things will move on like they normally move on. When he's here, if I have my door shut, oh, it's just the fact that we've always kept our doors open. Well, I mean, no offense, that wasn't a rule that was told to me when I was hired, right? And I would say within the first week of me being there, my door was shut. So it's not as if all of a sudden I'm shutting my door and did it. No, I've been shutting my door. I've been shut my door since I started working there, and I've been there for almost what, 2 years. So the reality of the situation is, it's just strange, right? And then I also told you guys how everybody has been super nice. And I wonder if some of that is done again, because it's like, okay, well, you guys be nice to her. And if she gives you any sort of attitude, you come to me and let me know. That's what it almost feels like what's happening. And I'm just like, okay, but in my mind, you guys, I don't mind. If you're being kind to me, I'm gonna be kind to you. That's just how that goes, right? And two, people need to understand that if my door shut, it's because I'm working. I got a job to do. It'd be different if my door is shut and I'm not doing any work. But the fact that I'm working and things are progressing, like, how dare you be upset because my door is shut? That's like a personal issue. That ain't got shit to do with me, bro. If you feel like my door being shut signals leave me alone, then maybe there's a level of therapy that folks need to attend to figure out why they feel that way, right? Like that, that's not my problem. Now, it's different if I'm slamming my door, right? That now, obviously, I'm frustrated, right? But that's never been the case. I just shut my door so I can get my work done, right? Because I ain't trying to be hanging out. Like, I think that my boss wants everybody to be friends, and it's like, we can be friends, but I'm your colleague. I'm not like, I'm here to get a job done and go home and go hang with my friends if that's what I want. Like, if I'm not really a friend to you, right, why do we need to pretend to be friends in the workspace? Like, that's crazy, right? We can be cordial, we can be associates, we can be like, that doesn't mean we got to be fighting and enemies. It just means that the people I consider my friends are people who would not judge me because my door is fucking shut. Let's keep it a buck. So the day went smooth. I had to leave early on Thursday. I had to leave a little early because my kid wanted me to pick her up. So I ended up leaving early, picked her up. And through conversation, my boss was like, hey, I just want to go over the board, yada, 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 know where I stand before I go on vacation, because essentially I'm the only one there. And I was like, okay, like, perfect. Let's do this tomorrow. I'll be in, because normally I work from home on Fridays, but because the manager is not in, right? And then again, understand, pay has to be considered, because how is it that the manager is not in? Now I'm the manager stepping in. I don't get paid nowhere near what this man gets paid. Just putting that in perspective. Okay. So now I'm having to step in and physically be there to support my team, right? That doesn't sound like someone who's being unagreeable or got an attitude, right? Because realistically, I could have been like, well, my days to work from home are Fridays and I'm not stepping in at all, right? So I'm there. I'm willing to help. I brought my daughter in. My daughter normally comes with me when she's with me, because she has to if I have to physically go in. And I reached out to my boss and I was just like, hey, so whenever let me know when you're ready to go over the board. He looks at it and doesn't respond. And I've already told him about his failure to communicate. It's obvious he does these things because he stopped talking to me because my door was shut. Instead of being the 50-year-old man that he actually is and coming in and saying, hey, look, is everything okay? Is there anything I can do to help out? These folks don't even know I had a death in my family. There was a funeral last Monday, right? These are not conversations that are being had, because for whatever reason, grown men are intimidated by me, right? So it says a lot. Like I say, this is a man thing more than anything else. I really believe it's a man and his perception, a woman, and then me being a black woman on top of that, right? Because I told him, I said, I don't own this space. I don't own this building. I don't own my office, right? So how is it that you guys are walking in my office? That's crazy. If I felt like somebody was snubbing me, for example, and I own the company, right? And I feel like you're just shutting your door and you got an attitude, you mean to tell me I wouldn't have walked in your office knowing damn well I'm the one who pays the bills? Like I guess maybe that's the difference in personality, right? Because I don't have time for guessing. I'm the girl that's going to come in and be like, yo, what's up? And I would have done it if I felt like that, right? I would have came into your office while everybody else's office is all around me, and you and I would have had that conversation with the door wide open. If that's really how I felt. You know what I mean? Like we could have played, two can play those games. I'm just not the girl that's passive about it. I don't respect passiveness, right? I respect directness. Don't wait until you want to blow up and let me go to have that conversation. You should have been had that conversation. You should have had a warning, right? A write up, right? You should have been having these conversations. They all should have been documented, right? See, this is how a company should be running itself, but because they don't have an HR, they're not doing it the right way. So I say all this to say, obviously my boss is out because I said, you know what? I'm not going to play this game of I'm not responding type. Okay, you don't want to respond to me. It's obvious you looked at what I sent you. Then when it's time for me to leave, me and my daughter are out. I'm not going to sit around and stay till 5 o'clock on a Friday to wait for you to tell me yet. No, I asked you a direct question. It's a yes or a no. And if you can talk to every single person in the office but talk to me, again, that's a you issue. That ain't got shit to do with me. You know what I mean? So now I think starting when I go in on Monday, he's gone. So both managers, quote unquote, are gone. It's just me. Guaranteed I won't have no issues. Guaranteed. Another thing is what I noticed is on Thursday we had lunch. So part of my compensation package is that he orders lunch for us every week, right? That's what is written on the compensation package. This every week thing moved to twice a week. That's fine. Where I've kind of decided that I'm going to move differently is that I don't mind you buying lunch, but I shouldn't feel like I'm obligated to eat with everybody as we're buying lunch, right? I've been in corporate settings, I've been into like smaller settings, I've been in a lot of different workspaces where eating together was never a requirement of the job, even if the job supplied the food. Meaning that I would much rather, because what I've realized is I don't have much in common with none of these people. Okay. I would much rather at this time, after experiencing what I've experienced over the last month, is spend my lunches by myself, right? If that means that I'm on the phone with family or I'm going shopping or whatever, I would much rather have my time to myself, right? Because that's just my personal time. It's my lunch time, right? I should be able to spend that time to myself. Even if lunch is only once every 2 weeks. Okay? Because I know that when I get in front of this table, it's all fake. Like I could fake it, but then I probably wouldn't be talking as much. Like I don't know how to fake it that well, right? I just probably wouldn't. Like the last time we had lunch, I didn't say much. There was nothing to say. You know, they're talking about things I don't relate to. I don't know that I'll ever be able to relate to, right? If it's more entertaining to watch my show while I eat my lunch, that's what I'm gonna do. So they've scheduled lunch for every other Thursday, and I've not accepted the invite because I feel like this. I don't want to be in personal settings. Like I don't want to spend my personal time with these people anymore. That's just really where I'm at. It ain't nothing, I'd rather have my personal time to me. That's just where I'm at. When I'm on the clock, I'm on the clock. When I'm working, I'm working. Okay, if you need me, I'm here. But I feel like for me, they've changed the dynamics and how I operate and how I move, right? And this is what it is. It ain't changing. And so I can fake the funk. I can have my representative represent me while I'm physically at working, right? So if you come to me, you say good morning, right? But I know this is very robotic like, right? It's very just because if I don't say good morning, you gonna take it personally type shit, right? Not really because I want to. And when I'm in this space, right, I'm learning that this is a way in which I protect me. The part where it's like the part that it's almost like there's a wound that was created that didn't have to be created, but it was created because we don't know you. We ain't really tried to get to know you. We want to tell you what we think you are, but as far as actually getting to know you, we don't want to do that. And so I just feel like the person that they think they know is who they need to be seeing all the time. The person who I really am, that only comes out when they try to play on my intelligence, like that conversation that really happened. We had a dialogue and I was very honest about what I thought. And in that moment, it put everybody back on offense, right? Because now you're seeing that your perception of me is off. That's a lot of people's perception. I'm a Pisces. Most Pisces go through this. I swear it's because I'm a Pisces, because I'm hard to read. So instead of trying to read me, instead of trying to understand me, you're trying to put your personal biases and your personal thoughts onto me, and then confused when I don't really live up to all them check boxes in that box that you had tried to put me in the first place. I never put myself in, but you put me in. That's usually how my life is when people are committed to misunderstanding me. So I still recognize in my spirit what I feel like after the week went by, right? I ended up ordering lunch because I had my daughter. I wasn't going to let her not eat. So obviously, I extended the offer to my team. One of my team members was like, "Who else are you asking?" So to be fair, I asked everyone in the fucking office. Not that that's really my style or my thing. I'm just asking my team because I work with them, right? But I didn't want the conversation to be, "Oh, she left us out. She didn't ask us," because the conversation, I mean, it was real direct, which was, "Who else did you ask?" So then I asked everybody, right? I mean, thank God everybody said no, right? Outside of my team, right? My team and I ate, the ones that were there. They paid me my money back. I mean, I'm sure I paid a little bit more over, but that's fine. Paid me my money back, and we had a good Friday. Now, when I go in, I do expect the same thing. This will probably go on. My team and I, like I say, I don't know what was discussed. When I wasn't in the room, I don't know. But I feel as though men, once they come to a level of, I don't want to say, is it an understanding? I don't know. But I am not expecting to really clash with my team, right, anymore. Because the difficulty personalities, I feel like there was a conversation had. I don't know what, but that's what I feel, right? And so the men have been a lot more, you don't need to flirt with me nice, but respectful. That's it. If I come to you and I ask you for something, I don't need the eye roll, because see, I can drag it out. I can make this a complete nightmare for you, right? So I don't need to drag it out. If I'm coming to you and I'm doing my job, just fucking answer my question, bro, and move on with your day. I don't need a period answer. I don't need oh, I'm in my emotions type answer. Like, that puts me on natural defense, because now I don't even know how to talk to you as a man, because I'm looking at you like, why did that hurt you so badly? You see what I'm saying? So I don't see any sort of issues with my team, right? Um, we'll see what happens when the owner gets back and how his energy collides with ours, right? I don't know. Um, I will tell you guys that I'm in the process, obviously, of I'm very focused on getting my business off the ground. I've gotten 3, 4 new clients. I've got a few prospects. My name is out there. People are coming to me now, which is crazy. A lot more phone calls for work, which is awesome. But that's where I'm at, is I got to build my business, and I did the math on how many clients I should have. But I got to build my business. If things keep going the way that they're going, I may not have to work another tax season with this company. And I'm praying that even if, let's say, for example, this coming tax season, fingers crossed, should be my last tax season, if it goes that far. Because I can't, you guys, I'm not going to subject myself to the same level of abuse. I know that anywhere I go, it's gonna be like that, because there's white people who dominate this industry, predominantly white men who dominate this industry in this state. And the only way that I could feel comfortable is if I work for myself. And this is where a lot of Black women have ultimately, been the road they've been walked down. Like, okay, so you're tired of how you're treated. What's the alternative? The alternative is not going to work for somebody who's going to treat me the same, if not worse, right? It's working for myself so I don't have to go through none of this nonsense ever again. That's how you eliminate that bullshit. It is what it is. And I'm not willing to hurt myself or I'm not willing to put myself in a position where I could lose. You know what I mean? Because that's what the goal is. That's what the intent is. If you're ready to fire me over a perception of attitude that really is something you made up, ain't got shit to do with me, then in my mind, you want to see me fail. As much as you could say, well, I don't want to see you fail, and I care about that little girl. What's her name? My daughter said, I remember his name. How come he doesn't remember mine? That's intentional. That man don't give a fuck. He cares about the kind of work that's coming through his desk. They're not friends. There was a time where I would have my daughter go say hi to him every time she came in. But I'm like, as many times as my daughter has hung out with the whole team and none of y'all know her name, but y'all talking about how y'all buddies and y'all are friends and that she should call you anytime she don't want to listen to me and da-da-da, but you don't know her name? That's kind of rude, bro. That's actually very rude, sir. And that offends me as her mama. I'm like, because I know her name ain't that complicated. It ain't like it's Janiqua or Shaniqua or something crazy, right? It don't have a crazy spelling, right? It's Ayana, right? I mean, really, it ain't that complicated of a name. They want to put all types of syllables and letters into her name. How do you not know how to say Anna? How do you know how to say that? It's disrespectful. That's not respectful. If you could say Tom, Peter, Paul, you got a college degree, you can damn sure say my daughter's name. And it's not written in a form for it to be complicated. Because I know that's what some white people be saying, is we label our kids with all types of random names. The girl's got 5 letters in her name. It ain't that fucking complicated, bro. So I just listen. I understand that I'm in a situation that I never want to be in again. I never want to be the only Black girl working for a company ever again, ever again, ever again. I know that in my industry, in the state of Colorado, I don't know too many places, unless they're Black owned, that have Black employees doing what I do. When I go to meetups and I go to the chambers of commerce and all these different places, I don't see Black people in these spaces. So I don't know. Again, a part of me wonders if some of it is where I'm going, right? Because he knows, I think that him having to send me money, because he had to Zelle me some money, right? And he Zelled it to my business instead of like my personal account. And I wonder if some of this is because I'm not directly in competition with him at all. Cause this, like I said, this industry, even the worst of the worst get clients. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I want to be this big firm. No, I just want to be able to do enough so that I never have to work for one of them again. That's just what it is. That's it. Because I know that if I work for myself, I ain't got to worry about my perception of how other people perceive me, unless it's a client. And my clients and we work well together. Like, I don't have issues with clients like that. So this is where I'm at, y'all. In my mind, it's like, okay, what can I do to build my business to keep growing? And this year, the start of this year has shown me that I can do it, right? I will say, now that I have 5 clients, it's been a lot more work on my plate, but it's cool. I want to see about getting a 10, right? If I can get to 10 before September, then I can get to 15 before December. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I could do that amount of numbers, because I'm trying to make sure that I still have the amount that I'm making with this company. I can't leave before I replace the income. I have to replace the income. Then I can say, you know what, I'm out. So that's where I'm at, is focusing on what can I do to replace my income. That's it. Once that is done, and keep in mind, this ain't a what can I do? I don't know what to do. I know what to do. I've been doing it actively. All right. I started doing this last year when I realized, hey, this ain't going to work out for me longer than what I thought. So this is the direction I'm going in, you guys. I'm proud of myself. I'm using the fuel that's coming from this company and how I feel with this company to build my company. And the beautiful thing is, I haven't even started my notary stuff. I stopped. So I'm a notary, but I stopped a lot of my loan signing agent stuff when I got to with this company. So once I start that back up, that's a new sign of income, right? So all of these things will mesh together. All of these things will kind of go together. And then I can start seeing, okay, well, if I'm doing my loan signings and my loan signings are picking up, which, goes along with the housing market, maybe learn a new skill as it relates to notary work, right? Maybe learn a different, maybe go into serving, right? Or whatever the case may be. Like, find a new avenue with the notary. That's a new source of income as well. So understand that I have not been utilizing all my irons in the fire, because I put one down, leave it, let it stay hot while I'm doing something else. But this energy that I've been receiving is energy from me that forces me to kind of focus on what matters, which is my business. If I get my business up where I wanted to get to, guys, and I say if I will, then I can say, you know what? This didn't work out for me. This is not an opportunity that I want to continue, and we can part ways as friends. It's not going to take me that long. I should have been well further off last year, but I did not focus. I did not have enough confidence like I do this year as I did last year, because I was still trying to figure out if I was even doing things right. Now I know that I had a clear understanding, and the fact that I taught myself a lot of this, like I'm a self-taught teacher, and then going in and working for a firm and realizing, girl, you did that. Like, low key, all of that knowledge that I had, I was applying correctly. That actually makes me so much more confident in what I do. Because with this company, they're like, oh, well, you need to go get your EA. You need to go get your EA. And I'm thinking, I could have it 10 times quicker if I stopped working. If I went on like a month or two vacation, do you know that I could have been had this done and had my certification by the time I come back to work? That's how I operate. I know I could have done that, but I don't have that luxury. So understand, guys, that there's a ton of benefit from me going to back working for myself. And if I can build my business up the way that I want it, there's so many avenues that I can go with it. It's crazy. And I don't have to stay in Colorado. So something I told my daughter this year is it. Like, I've got to be able to push myself beyond what I'm used to. And the fact that clients have been rolling, like people have been calling me, like my phone be blowing up. I'm sure it could get busier, but it be blowing up. So I just know that it's like what it feels like is a spiral. Like, you know how you get that, like a snowball effect. You start off, you get your name out there a little bit, people flock to you, people say they've heard about me, and people, and it's only going to go on from there. As long as I start taking on these clients and I'm doing well and I'm doing a great job, they're going to refer, naturally. It's a spiral effect. So regardless of what I'm experiencing at work, right? Because I don't like, this is the thing too. I'm too grown to be thinking about, oh, well, how is this perceived, or how are you going to, like, it's too much mathematics in that bullshit. It's too much. And I'm going to tell you now, as a company, you're not going to have a company at the level that you want it at if you don't understand that everybody, if there's always a focus on how people act or behave, in the sense that, not saying that, okay, if you're disrespectful, I'm not supposed to call you out. That's not what I mean. But I'm talking about the nitpicking, the the cattiness that goes on in the office type shit. That shit, in my opinion, I shouldn't have to spend more time on that than the average person. Like, I'm there to work, not to spend time on people's personal issues and personal deflections and personal problems. And no, bro. I don't mind helping, but that ain't why I'm hired. I'm not a therapist. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not there to be dealing with people's gossiping and shit. I don't care. So I'm at a point, that's where I'm at, y'all. That's what I know I gotta do. Did it get better? Yeah, but I don't know how much of it is artificial and how much is real. And you know what? That's probably none of my business. I'm gonna keep doing me. I'm gonna separate myself. I don't even need him to buy me lunch anymore. I would much rather have the cash in my pocket than a damn free meal. So I'm at a point, y'all, where I'm like, listen, if that's the game, I mean, at this point, I've checked out mentally, in the sense that I don't mind doing the work, but I recognize that we're not necessarily friends, right? We're not, like, I'm not the girl that you about to be inviting to come over for your any parties that you may have at your house, right? I'm the girl, I probably won't be there this holiday season intentionally, right? I'm at a point where if it involves everybody there, I probably won't be there. If it's a client focused driven event, then I'll be there. If it's a company party, and you might as well count me out at this time. That's where I'm at. I don't care as much. I care about doing my job. I care about doing my job well and going home and doing me, right? That's where I'm at. I don't have no real stake in this company. I don't have no real investment. When I asked the man where I was going, he was like, that's a good question. The fact that that's a good question and you don't know where I'm going, that tells me I have no future here. Right. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not, I don't need to fight for a spot that I was never going to receive from the jump. So I recognize that everything is within balance, right? Understanding that everything is in balance, right? Understanding that, hey, this might just be what my mentor told me when I started working here, that this was just a stepping stone. And because I was so excited to work for somewhere not saying that it's the best of the best. Some people don't even know what this nobody has ever, you know what I mean? It's not the best of the best. It ain't the top of the top, right? But in my mind, it was like, wow, I could probably really make this work for myself. And my mentor kept saying, no, this is a stepping stone. This is a help you get to the next step opportunity. And I didn't see it as that. I kept saying, well, no, I can learn so much. Okay, you'll see. You'll see. So now I'm seeing, and I appreciate the opportunity. I will never deny that. I appreciate being given the opportunity to learn the things that I learned, to know the things that I know. Like, I appreciate it because, like I said, I probably still wouldn't went very far with my business out of fear, right? Out of fear that I didn't know much, right? So I appreciate every opportunity that I've had, but also recognize when it's time for me to start moving on. But this is similar to what I've created for myself in the sense that I keep saying I don't want to move on. Well, it's not that I don't want to move on. It's making a promise to myself, just like I did with my roommate, which was when I leave here, I'm going to be so good, I don't have to work for anybody else. That is the intent. And let's say for something crazy happens and I have to take a job real quick or whatever, then you can bet your bottom dollar that's my last job. But whatever I see going on, I'm at a place where I've got to figure out a way to make my business work for me. So that's where I'm at, y'all. You know, I'm not angry. I know the types of people I'm dealing with. I've been dealing with these people, no offense. And if you live in Denver, Colorado, that's all you dealing with, right? Um, but I also know the level of unnecessary strife and drama and all this extra shit that you don't really need, that I don't really need, you know. And if I'm not getting anything from it, the least I can do is say, you know what, I gained some, and I gained some knowledge behind it, right? Even if it does not advance my career. Because what was made clear to me is that the intent to advance my career is not really there. They're talking about making me a preparer. I said, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, is that up or is that side by side with what I'm doing? I don't know that I want to prepare for this company, right? I just don't know. Like, what does that look like? Are you going to be on my ass about quota and shit and putting unnecessary stress on me during tax season that I feel like I don't need? Is that going to help my tax skills? Possibly. It would help me to learn a lot more quicker. I bet you that. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's is that a demotion? Is that a promotion? What is that? You know what I mean? Is that going to gain me any more respect? No, probably not. Like, is that going to gain me a higher pay? I don't know. Like, I don't know. What are we talking about? You know? Um, I don't know. You know, I just don't know. And I'm at a point where not knowing is okay because, like I said, I'm always going to create for myself. You know, I'm always going to be building for myself. And because I have a skill set that allows me to build for myself, I have been diligently working on getting more clients. That's it. Getting my name out there, advertising, right? Stuff like that. And as long as I keep seeing the dough come in, which it's been coming in, I'm very appreciative of it. I'm confident, you guys, I can do this. You know, I'm confident that I don't need to sacrifice myself. I don't need to, you know, like I said, I just got to play the game a little bit longer. That's it, you know. And in the meantime, y'all, that's I mean, all I can do. I appreciate you guys tuning in a little bit because it does help to get it out. But all I can do is protect myself the best way I know how, if the situation should ever get out of hand, right? If the situation should ever go beyond what it should be going to, right? Then I have measures in place to protect myself. I'm sure the company has probably moved in the same. I mean, I'm just saying, if I had an employee like me, I would be moving in a position. We would be playing chess now. We ain't playing checkers, right? Because if a client, if an employee is coming to an employer and saying, hey, look, I think the fact that I'm a woman is why my position is the way that it is. I think because of my race is the way that it is. I'm sure that there are things that they are doing too to protect themselves, right? I would think that that's the only natural step. And I've always said this, Black people were so quick to move and react. And I used to be this way. That's why I'm so shocked about how I handled this situation, because that wasn't me a year ago. A year ago, I was working at a warehouse, and the moment the girl said, oh, you must be angry. When they started treating me crazy, I said, oh no, I'm out of here. I'm not finna deal with this shit. I don't have to deal with it. And I left, right? So, but I know what comes with that. I know that until you find another job, the whole time you're freaking out because you don't know what the next what it's about to be. The difference is I had someone holding my hand then. I don't have nobody holding my hand now, right? So I definitely have to move strategically. And then two, it is my time to start documenting, start keeping track of everything that occurs, from company interactions to the work that I do every day, because the goalpost is always moving. So if the conversation becomes, well, hey, she just wasn't doing the work, well, then we got documentation that proves otherwise, right? If you're saying that, hey, I got an attitude because what I said, I told a girl no, and that comes across as attitude, so it made the girl feel some type of way. Well, there's a documentation of that interaction, right? And so if my response was simply no and you were offended by that, that's not really a me problem. That is a you problem. So these are things that, believe it or not, when you're going up for unemployment, right? When you're now saying, hey, look, I want to file a claim as a result of X, Y, and Z, and that happens every day. I don't know why anybody would think that I wouldn't. I've been working for the company for almost 2 years. I'm taking that unemployment. Do you understand me? So anytime that happens, there has to be, because what happens is you go to court and the person says, well, hey, look, I don't think she should get unemployment for X, Y, and Z, right? I've got to now be able to fight that claim against the employer and say, no, these are the reasons why I do deserve unemployment, and possibly a little bit more because of all the stuff that I've had to deal with. Do you understand? I'm not stupid. So, yes, if you're telling me that something as simple as me shutting my door was enough to make you think that something like I was just angry and like didn't want to be bothered, and you didn't even come ask me, do you think that the courts are going to side with the employer on that one, or me? It ain't the employer, because that's not on me that you have a personal issue with me shutting my door. That ain't got shit to do with why I'm there. So these are things that, unfortunately, when you're in my shoes, and I feel like you've had this conversation, especially being the only Black person, it's different if I was white, right? Because then I got 20 people I could go and talk to about how I feel, and they're going to listen to me and they're going to hear me without all the extra biases in between, right? Black people, not so much. Like I said, I appreciate him hearing me in that conversation, but we'll see over time goes by how much I was heard. Again, I do believe that a conversation was had with my team, which I appreciate, because this week has been a lot easier. I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells, at least this week, right? I was able to go in, talk to everybody, get what I needed done, and they were more than happy to work with me last week, which was great. I hope that continues, because it makes my job a lot smoother, right? When everybody is working together and collaborating. But I'm prepared for the goalposts. You know, that's, I'm already in my mind. I'm like, that shit's about to move. And I know some of this is my perception too, but it's based upon experience, and they're only showing me that my previous experiences are actually adding up to what I'm experiencing now. So, um, y'all, I'm grateful. Like I said, I think that when you gotta understand, God puts you in places for reasons. And I really feel like if God wanted me to leave, I would have been out already. Like I would have been quit. We wouldn't even had this level of conversation. I would have been out. I would have quit. But I don't move until I feel like God tells me to move, because I know that when it's, let's say, for example, if I was to rage quit, there's times where I've rage quit and I think God really intended on me to rage quit. Because right after I rage quit, I got a 10 times better position that I didn't expect to have, but I had it after I rage quit. But that's not always the case for every scenario. And now that I'm getting older, I have to be wiser about my choices. I've got to move with strategy, not with emotion, right? These are two different things, right? And I've got to ensure that I'm not hurting myself as a result of saying, you know what, fuck you. I don't have to tolerate this shit. And I think some of that comes with just being an adult, right? Being an adult, learning how to maneuver in certain situations, right? Knowing that, okay, if I'm going to do this, I got to make sure X, Y, and Z is covered. So right now I'm covering my ass, right? I'm covering myself. I'm making sure that I'm good. And if it means, like I said, sucking it up, I don't kiss ass. It's very difficult to do. But if it means sucking it up and putting on a smile, maybe not all day because it's not realistic. And if they did ask me to smile all day and fired me because I didn't smile all day, well, that's a legal reason for the courts to side with me. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like they know where how far they can go, and I know how far they can go. And as long as I keep myself protected, keep my eyes on the prize, which is my business is doing good. I should be okay. You know, I'm confident that I'll be fine as long as none of this extra bullshit. Lunches, they either want me to sit at lunch at the table with them and be quiet and have a headphone in and be scrolling on my phone while they all talking and laughing amongst one another, or I could just say, you know what? I don't want lunch. I'm going out. And I just made it to where I got a schedule now for everything, you guys. I done added so much stuff to my schedule. So it looks like I got other shit going on outside of there, because if I don't want to spend lunch with you, that's not really a reason to fire me. Right. That's not even realistic. Right. So if part of that is accepting the food that you buy, then I will just kindly, schedule something for that time and I will go out and eat lunch on my own. That's if that's how emotional it becomes, like, then okay, we could just avoid all that. And then when they're like, hey, you're never here for lunches, great. That's how I want it to be. I don't want to have to feel forced that I got to do something to make other people feel good about themselves. That's not cool. That's never fair to me. That's not fair to any person that comes in them doors. I got to write a note on my door to let you know it's open when the door is shut, but I got to let you know it's open anyway for your emotional, like, that is crazy. That's crazy. And I'm the only one that has to do that, by the way, because, and it's because I'm black. That part is because I'm black. I can care less. Mhm. So, I don't like it. I don't like it, y'all, but I got to deal with it. And I know that when I don't like things, it's very hard to deal with them because I'm very spoiled and I'm used to doing what I like to do versus what I have to do, right? But I'm older now, I'm wiser now, and I'm making better choices now, right? So I appreciate the conversation. Like I said, I appreciate everything that happened because it tells me that my thought process is pretty much on point. And it's amazing to me how many people in this world will try to make you seem like you don't know what you talk about when you really do. That's some crazy ass shit. And I think part of it is because these are things that are said behind closed doors, and I'm never supposed to know that these things are happening. But because I'm very intuitive, I do know that they're happening. So these are things that are supposed to be talked about, but not really said. And then I'm the one that's coming in and saying all the things that shouldn't have been said, but they're being said anyway because I feel the energy. I'm not stupid. I don't know if it comes with stupidity as much as it is intuition. So that's where I'm at, y'all. And I think that God is the thing about my situation and my decision is I really believe that God is standing behind me. There's no freaking way my business has picked up as much as it has. Like I don't know how to explain it. it's like I made a conscious decision when I came into this year, like I'm going to build my business up because I could already see what's happening. I already kind of feel what's happening. I was more concerned about how I would have handled that situation, not them. I already expected them to be who they were. I didn't expect me to just be who I became, right? I expected me to go off and pop off and be like, fuck this and I'm out, fuck y'all, I'm out, whatever. And it didn't happen that way. So that was what I was most concerned about in this whole dynamic, is how I'm going to respond to it. So I started prepping on my own business, and now my business is flourishing. Like, it's really picking up. Like, I have a goal to double my income. What I made last year, I'm confident I could do this year. So I cannot get so down about work. Like, how I feel is like my business is my focus. Work is just the side hustle. Even though it pays my bills, right? It is the side hustle. Well, it barely pays my bills. That's another thing. But it's a side hustle. You see what I'm saying? Like, I have to learn that, okay, I do exactly what I do for my business that I do for this company, almost, right? So why couldn't I be in QuickBooks when I have some downtime and doing some work for myself, right? Why couldn't I be on my website thinking of new ideas to do for myself? Because I'm there, I'm in front of a computer. This is what we do all day. Why couldn't I do a tax return on my own software for a client of mine while I have downtime? Like, these are things that I have to start understanding, that I got to do more. If I'm going to stay late, I might as well be staying late as I'm working on his business, but working on mine too. The fuck? So I've been doing better, y'all, and I'm proud of myself. And I'm proud of myself, nevertheless, of how I handled it. It don't matter what I think. It don't matter all the jibber jabber that I have in my head, all the analysis. I handled that situation very well. And I plan on keep doing it, because you're not going to make an ass out of me. If anything, we going to make an ass out of all the people who made the assumptions, not me. So I don't, like I said, I expect this week to be good. And we'll see. I'm sure I'll be back with another video. But in the meantime, y'all, my focus is my business. I know that when I have my own business, I don't have to focus on none of this shit. I don't have to worry about being treated like shit. I don't have to worry about none of that shit. This is why Black women are leaving the workplace and now opening their own businesses. It has nothing to do with anything outside of how we're treated in the workplace. And because I know I work hard, right? Because I'm dedicated to the cause. And I feel like that's most Black people, right? When we go to work for a company, we're working our butts off, right? Why not use that same energy to build my shit up? Because it's us helping to build the company, right? But we doing it for folks that don't appreciate us, do not value us, do not respect us, do not even care enough to want to get to know you before they make assumptions about you. So why the fuck, that's just where I'm at. Why not take that same energy and apply it to my business? So if that means that I got to be up till 12 o'clock at night, that's what's been happening the last week. I got people whose books I got to do, and this is outside of work. So if I can't get it done in work, I need to be working on it while I'm at home. So the excuse of I'm tired. See, last year I was able to say, you know what, I'm tired, because I felt like I did a lot. I can chill. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. This year, nuh-uh, I got work to do. So that's how I'm handling this situation, right? And I say all of that to say that I'm not dumb. I'm fully aware of the circumstance. And I'm fully aware of how I don't even want to say these people, because that's rude. Because if they was to say these people to us, we would be taking it all personal. But I'm very well aware of how people maneuver. Let's put it that way. And now that conversation, all it did was tell me I was right. That's all it did, was tell me that everything I perceived was correct. And it was perceived in its proper context, right? So if that's the case, then that tells me to continue leaning on myself and trusting myself to know what I know and keep moving accordingly, which is building my business, getting the experience, soaking up as much as I can. One thing at work that I've been doing, something that he has been trying to keep me from doing, is part of tax, believe it or not, is research. And clients will have questions and he'll give it to the tax manager instead of giving it to me. And I noticed that was hindering my growth, right? Because now the questions that they have, I'm not even able to do the research behind because it's now having to be escalated to somebody else. So the tax manager's tax knowledge is growing while mine is kind of staying the same. So this year, I started a little bit last year as clients have questions and they're comfortable with me because a lot of these clients have a rapport with me, right? So they come to me first anyway. So I'm like, instead of passing them off, I'm going to do as much research as I can, ask as many questions as I can about their question so that I can learn more. And even the tax preparers on my team are like, that's how you're going to learn. And I know it. So I've been taking those opportunities because I want to be able to learn as much as I can. I want to make my testing as easy as I can. And so if I'm doing the footwork and I'm asking the questions, again, last year I didn't have enough confidence. Some of that had to do with the work environment, right? It has a lot to do with that. When you have men treating you like you don't know nothing, I may not know nothing, but I'm in the position I'm in for a reason, right? So then teach me, show me. Don't get irritated with me. Don't get impatient with me. Don't roll your eyes and be disrespectful. Teach me something, right? So this is where I'm at, y'all. As much as I can soak and gain from this company, I know I'm on a clock. I'm on a limited time. It's like the sand, that little y'all know what I'm talking about, where you turn the thing over and then the sand starts pouring out. That's what I feel like I'm on. I'm racing against a clock. But it's good for me because when my back is against the wall, I do the best. And as long as I keep focused on my money, my success, the things that matter, which is my business is what matters. Everything else is a byproduct of what I already started. My business was here first, not this fucking company in terms of my reality. Right? It may have been here first in terms of paperwork, but my reality didn't know nothing about this company until after I had already started my business and been living my business. You understand? So I'm bringing my focus back on what I got to focus on. Today, I plan on rewriting my goals because I already exceeded the goals, right? The client goals, stuff like that. I'm going to get a little bit more specific on how I plan to do things. Like I'm not playing. I've been listening to my wealth affirmations every day. Like I am on a whole mentally, I know that I'm up against time. It's only a matter of time before one of us say, you know what, this is over. I can't do it no more. Because I'm not going to change. I'm stubborn that way. When I know that I'm right and I didn't do nothing wrong, you can bet your but the bottom dollar, I'm just going to find a way to continue being me, right? Without trying to impose too much on you, I guess. I'm trying, right? So me going to lunch is still me not being there for lunch. It's just me acting like I got something better to do so that I can leave so that I'm not even questioning as to why I'm going to lunch. I blame it on my sister. Me and my sister gonna go have lunch. These are the only days she can meet. For real. I'm meeting with her. I don't care about your food. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm gonna go get me some lunch outside of here. That's how it's about to be. So you got to get creative. So I've gotten a bit creative, but that's where I'm at, y'all. And I think that that's a good space for me to be in. It ain't trying to act like everything is swept under the rug. Nope. Because see, that's how people get caught up, is you think that everybody's in the space that you're in, and that's not necessarily the case. People say one thing and they do a whole other. So while you telling me, oh, that's why, and I get it, the whole time you thinking, but bitch, I gotta find a way to get you up out of here. You know what I mean? So my head is not necessarily on a swivel. I'm not going to feel like I just know what I need to do. And I think this is God's way of saying, baby girl, focus on what you started. Focus on why you got into this business. Because y'all know damn well, if I was working for an employer my whole life, I would be unhappy. And that's because that's not why I got into this field. I got into this field to create a better life for me and mine by way of my own business. So again, I'm appreciative. I'm not ungrateful, right? I appreciate the ability to disagree with people that are more powerful, quote unquote, than me, I guess, financially, whatever, and still be able to work through that experience because that's what happened, right? I didn't go off for nothing. So I'm proud of myself. I've matured. But I also know that it's time for me to really focus on the things that matter in my life. And that is getting me where I want to go. And that's not expecting anybody else to do that for me. So that's all I got to say on the matter. That's where I'm at. That's what I was trying to say before, but I don't know what was happening, but I couldn't really say it. Um, but that's really where I'm at, y'all. And that's the full scope of everything. Like I said, I don't feel treated bad. My daughter and I got invited to a brunch, which we'll be attending. We'll see how I feel by the time that time comes up. But my plan is to enjoy my summer. And I'm not going to let people that are intentionally trying to misunderstand me ruin that, right? You're not going to ruin where I lay my head, the quality of my life. Like, you're not about to ruin shit. So that's where I'm at, y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I think that a lot of like black people can learn from it, right? And this is what black women, believe it or not, there's so many black women that are in similar positions. Is ridiculous. Where again, you would think the natural state of mind in these situations is like, you know what, you don't want me, fine, I'm out. But it's not that easy to do. When I was working a regular ass job, that's easy to do because you can get a regular ass job anywhere. But understanding that this is an industry where people talk, people speak, right? Who knows what kind of negativity could be placed on my name as a result of, right? Who knows? And then to have to be able to go work for another company where I'm the only white person or black person, excuse me, knowing what comes with that. Like, if so many black women are saying the same thing about their experiences in the workplace, it's got to have some merit to it. It can't be that we're all just naive and we're just blaming everything on race, because a lot of these black women are 10 times more qualified to be in these spaces than I am. So it just goes to show that there's a level of attitude towards black people. We hire you for the sake of saying we're inclusive, but we don't hire nobody else that's black. Like, real talk. I'm the only black person. That gets exhausting because you don't understand me. Whereas a black person, if I had, let's say when I was in this corporate space, right? And it sucks that I wasn't really like a hired on employee, because when I worked with Arrow, I was a contractor, right? But my team had, I think, one other black person on the team. And if you look at a corporation as big as Arrow, you definitely got some black folks. The majority of the black folks were in customer service, right? Which that's a whole nother conversation in itself, because they literally, and I watched it happen while I was there, the corporation is located in this white neighborhood. It's like the suburbs, quote unquote. That's what it's supposed to be. They moved, the customer service had their own floor, nothing but black folks. I mean, the majority of the black folks were in customer service. They ended up moving that entire team to their own building. Okay. And that always rubbed me the wrong way, but I never said anything because it's not my, like, I'm a contractor, right? So it ain't my job to delve deep. But what the issue is when I was there, you would have black people from other teams, right? And I'm talking about, this company's huge. So you're not seeing these people every day. These are people that you only see in passing, right? Because they're on a completely different floor or another team or whatever. It's so bad in this corporation where you've got blacks from, I'm talking about the youngest of blacks to the oldest of blacks connecting with one another. So these black people talked with one another. And the one thing they told me when I got there, old lady, I'll never forget, keep your head down and stay out of the mix type shit. And this was the reason why you had so many black people from all walks of life. When I say all walks of life, is because you're dealing with college students who are, what are they? What's the word for these people when they're in school? Interns, right? You got interns to people who have been working for this company for years, to up to like supervisors and shit like that, right? Where everybody connects with everybody because our experiences are similar. So this is a problem that goes unaddressed within the corporate space, and it's always made to seem like it's a black person's problem, instead of white people saying, you know what, maybe we did have a personal bias, maybe we did look at it a certain way. So it's always even in the big companies, your blacks are going to be more connected than I think people understand, right? Because it's a support system. It's like Bob may not understand how I feel about what was said to me, but you will because you understand my experience as an everyday individual in this country, right? And being the only black person, y'all, I don't have nobody to unleash that to. I don't have anybody to be like, you know what? Did you hear how so and so was talking to me today? I didn't appreciate that. And somebody who is either going to give it to me straight and be like, baby girl, no, you was thinking wrong, or somebody who's going to be like, yeah, that was kind of jacked up. And I could see how you felt the way that you felt. I don't have that luxury. Being the only black person in a company, you do not have that luxury. You have no one there that understands you. Meanwhile, everybody there is trying to tell you they understand you, but you can't possibly understand me because you don't live my life. You know what I mean? So white people think that we've got the same experience because we're human. No, I'm black. That's a whole nother experience, my friend, that you have never had to experience. But you create the experience, the very experience that makes me not want to experience. You know what I mean? So there's gotta be like, and I know that when you're talking with white people about race, it just is a brick wall. You're talking to a fucking brick wall, bro. It just is what it is. I don't expect white people to understand where I come from. I don't expect white people to um understand the trials and tribulations of a black woman, right? What I do expect them to understand is that just because you see black women acting a fool on TV don't mean that I'm the same way, right? Don't mean that you could talk to me in a just because you see the black man talking shit about me and my attitude don't mean you can, homie, right? Unless I really got an attitude, right? So I'm at a point, y'all. I'm not expecting white people to wake up. I think the intent behind this is for black people to understand that we've got to do more to take care of each other. And if that means me starting my own business so that I don't have to engage like this, because let me be clear, I can have my own business and I'm now seen as, I see myself as an equal with the employer. So white, rich, poor, purple, blue, it wouldn't even matter because how I see it is we both business owners, right? I don't have to bow down to you. So then the respect level is different. Even if you don't respect it, you have to. You see what I'm saying? An employer situation, employee situation, it's like your pay is what you're dependent upon. So if I could play with your life and I could play with your money and shit like that, that can really have long lasting effects on somebody. So this is all it's telling me. It's not telling me to go find a new job. Now, if I find a bookkeeping job, that's something I've been thinking about. It's really just probably going back and working for like a auto company or a plumbing company and doing their bookkeeping, right? That's at least enough to keep the roof over my head type shit, right? Not enough to do what I want to do, but it might be worth it. And then build my business up from there, like if I absolutely had to. But I don't see myself being the only black person in white people's spaces. Like I think I'm over this phase of my life, right? I gotta tolerate it. It is what it is. But I think that the reason why black women experience this is because the end goal is for us to have our own businesses, right? And begin to hire people who look like us because the experience is different. Now, one of my friends suggested that I go hire work for an all black company, but some of these companies are ghetto as fuck. Like, nah, I'd much rather be the only black girl in the space than to work for a black company. Now, maybe if I went to like Texas or Atlanta or somewhere where it's more common, maybe, right? But I'm not trying to be dealing with a whole bunch of ghetto-ness and ratchetness either. And I'm not saying that comes with every company, but I'm very particular if I was to work for an all black company of who I'm working for, man. You know, and it's the same thing that you have in the white people side. It's just you're more than likely going to be dealing with a certain behavior when you're hired by whites, right? Just like you can assume you're going to be treated a certain type of way by blacks. I've worked for a black woman before. I had a great time. I'm not even gonna lie. I used to do house cleaning. She was the owner of the company. I had a really good time. I didn't have no issues. She was cool. She taught me a lot. She was cool. But I also recognize some companies are not ran properly either. And I'm not saying, I don't mean to put that on Black people like that, but we have a history. There is a stereotype there, right? And so for me, I would much rather, because I know a lot of Black owners in this field. Now I know why a lot of Black people go into this field and they own their own businesses. I know people that started off at H&R Block, right? Went and worked for a firm and said, nope, I'm not doing the firm thing no more. I want to work for myself. Black men, Black women who are in this field doing the damn thing. But do I want to work for them? No. No shade, but no. I want to work for myself. So it's time, like I said, I'm having to get real with my goals. And I think that's where God is pushing me to, is getting real and honest with what I'm striving to do in my life. And again, lighting that fire up under my ass so I don't get too fucking comfortable. Do you understand me? Because last year I put my business on the back burner. One, because I was still learning, but two, because I got a little bit comfortable. That's the truth. God is saying, no, bitch, don't get comfortable. Keep going. And it's time. It's time, right? So I'm really grateful. Like I said, even for the good and the bad, the experience of it all, because it allows me to get more clear with what I want out of life. It allows me to know what I want and what I don't want, what I want to experience and what I don't want to experience, right? Do I really want to go through the workforce in this type of way, or do I want to create my own path? I think I want to create my own path. I think I have a little bit more freedom in that way, you know? I don't want to have to be worried about how I make somebody feel because I'm shutting my door. I don't want to have to announce to the office that I'm not angry. Hey, I'm just shutting my door. Like, I don't want to have to go through those kinds of experiences. It's not fair. I just want to live my life. So I'm proud of myself. Nevertheless, I'm grateful for my friends, everybody, with their two senses, because it helps me to think. But most importantly, I'm grateful for the opportunity to even be in this spot to say, you know what, this is what I want. This is what I'm going after. This is my focus from now on. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below, especially you Black people. Like, I don't care about white people in this conversation, really. I want to know about Black people and your experience. Like, have you gone through this? Have you experienced this? And if so, what was it like? Let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, y'all, I'm out. Peace.